Hey everyone, Florida Man here, giving you guys an update for February. So far, things have been getting better for me, health-wise and stuff that I'm doing. I finished up the drones that I made for Mac. I have a bunch of video, like 20 gigabytes worth of video that I did. All I need to do now is just edit it all and make it something that you guys would actually want to watch. That is something I struggle with still. Editing is probably my weakest point right now when it comes to what I'm doing here in Ukraine. The video side stuff is just finding the time, finding the motivation. And also because the technical, I know guys, my videos aren't the best quality, and that's why usually I don't like doing it, because that's where I don't do well. But you know, you got to keep trying. So I swear those videos will be coming out once I have enough free time. That's the thing though. I've been getting really busy lately. With my health getting better, I'm like, all right, I think I could do this now. I think I could do that. I'm kind of talking to a lot of people now. I got a lot of other small projects going on. I went to Lviv recently. We set up an English program there for kids at risk at an orphanage. And then soon I'll be going to Kyiv to do something similar. Besides that, in my garage, it's freezing. It's literally freezing. When I got back into my place after Lviv, everything was frozen. I left some dirty dishes and freaking it was frozen. The water in there was frozen. My pipes are frozen and I've gone about reheating them. But guess what? It's frozen to a point where even though I had like a heater in there and I was in like the ambient temperature in my bathroom was like 75 or something, still no water. Let me double check real quick. Let's see. Yeah, see? No water. So that's no fun, but that's not drinking water. So I haven't been shaving. I haven't been able to shave or shower for a couple of days, but that's all right. That's what you got friends for, right? But I should talk to you guys today about what I'm doing next, my next project in my garage. So with the drones finished, Mac was talking about trying to get some caltrops for their units. Now we made caltrops earlier. I made a video earlier. They're really cool. They were 3D, not 3D, they were laser cut. So basically you just, give them to like a laser cutter, plasma cutter place. They'll cut them out. And you just like, there's just two pieces and they just fit together and then you weld them. They're very simple to make and they were pretty cost effective. I think it was like $1.50 it turned out for a caltrop. But there were some issues with it. First issue being weight. They were too heavy. Second issue was basically how that caltrop worked. Like what was the original purpose of a caltrop was like to take out like a horse's foot, right? It was like to immobilize a horse or something. And so we're trying to immobilize tires now. And you don't want to like just have the horse like have a limp that it has to worry about after battle. You want to immobilize it immediately. And so with those caltrops we made, they didn't immobilize the vehicles as fast as we wanted to. And that was the issue. Basically, like, yeah, you got an incision in there, but then, it kind of plugged itself and you'd have like a small air leak. So we're thinking about what can we do to cause like an immediate air leak, for the tire to go completely flat within, 30, 40 seconds after it getting hit. So this is my current idea of how to go about doing that. As you can see here, we have a caltrop 3D print. I wanted to do a 3D design. There's people ask me, well, why don't you just weld it? One hand, the welding these guys, it is possible, but on the other hand, I'm actually not sure if it'd be a stronger bind. I think this 3D, I think a lot of people don't understand how powerful 3D like printing is and how like durable of an item you can make. This guy is solid. All right, this guy is a very solid bit. There's some small modifications I still need to make. I've been testing it with a hammer and wood. Just give it a good whack and see if it sticks together. It sticks together after the first one or two hits. After the third hit, something cracks, and then I see where it cracks. And then I make modifications to it. But yeah, so basically, you can't see it now, but yeah, if it punctures through there, inside here, there's a hole. There's a hole that I make, and that hole goes throughout and it goes to the other guy. So basically, if we get a hole, if this is able to lodge in, air's coming out. And that would be really cool if I was able to design something that could work really well. And other things, this is really light. Not having to do all metal, this is a lot lighter. We don't have to spend so much. The PETG is very light material. And then also, there's no welding required. There's no specialty skill required to make this. So there's places where there's volunteer like metal shops where people go to do, non-skilled labor metal work. I can give this to someone and they can do it. We don't need someone who has like the skill set of a welder to work on this. This can just be your average Joe. All he has to do is grab some pliers and just starts, plugging away, putting them in, tapping them, making sure they're in fully. And then we just need our 3D printers. So speaking of that, let me go upstairs. I'll move on to the next portion. So what else is going on? When I was in Lviv, I got a very lucky chance. There was a German volunteer who's heading back to his home country, and he set up a print farm. They had multiple printers, and so they're trying to offload some of them. So I picked up 2 of his printers for a real bargain deal. I used your guys' money for that. Hope you guys don't mind. I know they're not staples, but it's going for the war effort. So there's one of them right there in my fuck it corner. And the other one's down there, and my original's in there printing up another caltrop. So talk a little bit about 3D printing and stuff. It was a fun story because when I picked up the 2 printers, I had to do some assembling, and then I needed to test them. And I made a very big mistake, and this was a good learning experience too. So originally I was like, all right, let's have it print out my new caltrops. And when I printed them out, let me grab one. Where did that guy go? There he is. When I printed him out, he ended up like this. And you can see that does not look like a good caltrop. This is a very common issue with 3D printing. And, I was like, dude, your printer sucks that I got from you. What's going on? This is I tried it 2 or 3 times and I kept getting this. And I did a calibration test. I started looking, checking if I did anything else wrong. Couldn't find anything. And then basically I was like, well, shit, dude. There was a good 40 minutes I spent trying to figure out diagnosing what's the problem with this printer. So I change over because you have to use different plastics for different things that you want to make. So I switch over to my original printer. I set it up to work on this, and I'm going to, take this other printer and open it up and see what I could do to fix it. And while my original printer is trying to print one of these guys, guess what? It does the exact same thing. I get a blob. And then, so basically I realized, oh yeah, shit. I just updated the version of the caltrop, and I was just, small modifications you make over time. And I forgot to update, to set up a proper, support system. The scaffolding between the item and the hotbed. And so I realized that the problem wasn't his printer, it was my design. And that's just a really good learning, just a skill to understand when it comes to diagnosing problems is to cut the variables down. So the problem was I had 2 unknown variables. I had my 3D design and I had the printer. I would have figured out immediately that the problem was with my 3D design and not the printer. But I did not think that through, I should probably, this was a new design. Let me do it on my original printer first to double check. I just thought it was going to work. But there's all these small little things you really don't think about too much that can really lead to bleed time. Because printing one of these guys, that is one downside. Time-wise, it's not cheap. It's, I guess, not cheap. Well, it's it takes some time to print these guys. It's about an hour or so to print them. It's no problem if you got 3 printers and you can set them up on a set of 4 each. And so, you can get 25 or so out pretty fast. But, this is one of those fun little learning lessons when it comes to, learning how to do all this sort of stuff here in Ukraine. Besides that, they forgot to send me one power cord, so I got to get a power cord still. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good asset now. I didn't think I was going to have a little print farm here, but it seems like I'm going to end up with a print farm. Also, in addition, actually, I guess more on a more serious note, because I feel like I have to talk about this as an American. What's going on with President Trump and Zelensky? For my non-American viewers, it's for my Ukraine. If any of my Ukrainian friends are watching this, I want to say sorry. I want to apologize for how Trump has been handling this situation and how he treated Zelensky and calling him a dictator. That is it's like, how can I make amends for him, or how can I make amends for my nation almost? But here's the thing, I guess also for those People not in Ukraine right now. My Ukrainian friends, none of them are blaming me or saying anything bad to me or about Americans. They understand it's fucking Trump. They're not lumping us all together as the same. They understand. The U.S. was a big supporter for quite some time, and now it's Trump in power, so they understand Trump is the main thing. Um, it's just frustrating. It's very frustrating, and I'm very concerned. I think one hand, Europe will be forced to step in. That's a good. That's in that sense, I'm thinking, Europe will have no choice but to step in, and we'll see how efficiently, how competently they can step in. My concern, though, is if Trump. It's one thing for Trump just to become neutral. If he becomes neutral, I think Ukraine's fine. My issue is if Trump actively supports Russia. And that doesn't mean he's going to send troops into Russia to help Russia annex Ukraine. Nothing. I'm talking more like financially. Like, let's say trying to unsanction Russia. That was one big thing he talked about, was trying to bring Russia back to like the world trade. It seems very clear that is Trump's prerogative, is to start trading with Russia. He wants to give Russia a deal. He wants a good deal with Russia. It is either Ukraine gives up all its resources, or Russia gets some sweet deals, and Trump gets some sweet deals, and they throw Ukraine under the bus. Sorry, guys, I don't know if my printer's too loud for you. I'm just gonna keep talking here. Hopefully, it's not too bad. But yeah, that's my concern. I'm very concerned if Putin or Trump starts to take measures once to enable Putin, not just enable, but to like take the binds off again, to give him financial freedom again. Or worst case, he actually starts looking to impose sanctions on Ukraine. And you say, that's crazy, Ben. The guy already called, Zelensky a dictator. He said he started the war. That guy doesn't care. We see what he's doing domestically. He has free reign from reality, from the law. He can do whatever he wants to do. I mean, we'll see if the rest of the world allows him to do it. And, that's where I think, this is where Europe either shines or it all goes out. But yeah, it's concerning as an American to kind of see your leader kind of join the other side, pretty much. Think of World War II, if the U.S. joined Nazi Germany. Yeah. It's that was the thing too. There was a lot of sentiment. There was support for fascism in the U.S., but at that time the government had the capability to silence it, and then there wasn't the same media that we have today, which allowed these sorts of peoples to just go crazy with their disinformation and just say whatever the hell they want without any repercussions. I mean, what they're saying now, like Dodge is saying about what's inside the government, obviously, yeah, there was a lot of inefficiencies and probably some corruption definitely going on and funds not being allocated correctly. But the numbers these guys are coming up with, like there's 120-year-olds or something getting Social Security, and then you have to double check, but like there's no one there to say no, actually no, and like we just have to trust their word. Like Dodge says, trust our word that there's we're opening, like we're getting inside. You just have to believe what we're saying, but they don't allow any accountability to the situation. Like they don't want anyone to actually oversee them or actually view what information they're saying is true. Yeah. So it's unsettling. But yeah, we'll see what happens in Ukraine. Though we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. It's going to suck. It's going to suck not having U.S. weapons. Or, maybe the intel, maybe some of the intel the U.S. has been giving us. But the Ukrainians are resilient, man. They are resilient. They are very resourceful. They've been doing a lot of great stuff with very little. All right. Last but not least, I guess to close it out here, I did an interview recently with a woman named Julia, a Ukrainian woman. She asked me if I can share my story with her. She does interviews with other foreigners that come to Ukraine to do volunteer work. You guys can find it up here. Here's the link to it. It's a nice little conversation we had. Kind of give you a bit about my, origin story, Florida man's origin story, motivations for coming to Ukraine, a bit about the language challenges I face coming here, and some anecdotal stories about what have happened to me here in Ukraine. So if you're interested, please check that out if you just want to hear some more talk about what's going on here in Ukraine and how have I gotten to this point so far. But yeah, I mean, everything's going good, guys. I hate to say it's going good because it's not going good, but I feel like I'm not restricted. Like my body's not restricting me. I don't have bad situations popping up, which are slowing me down. Like the lanes are clear. The lanes are clear for me to go forward. And a big part of that is because of your guys' support. Honestly, your guys' support kind of gives me the confidence when I go to people, say, hey, I have this much money to give you guys to build this much materials to get these supplies done. Ramon and Dina, the people at the Forge, they, you guys are fully financing them. Too far in the video. Ain't cutting that out. Too far in. Yeah, you guys are completely financing them. Unfortunately, Ramon was sick. They had a cold. They got the flu. There's a flu going around in the city right now. And, they had their wells, so they're a bit slow on production. So I had a bit of a cash reserve. So I helped out with another place that makes other stuff for the military. And I was able to put money towards them. And I was able to get my 2 printers. And so now I feel confident in buying material supplies to build, caltraps and all this sort of stuff. It's very good, guys. Honestly, I'm very appreciative of what you guys are allowing me to do here. And yeah, without your support, I'd be in a very different situation. So that's it for Florida Man, guys. Thank you very much for your support. Stay safe out there.